There's a quiet truth that slips through the spaces between words, a hidden pulse that hums beneath everything we see, touch, and know. It's the secret rhythm of life itself, the breath of the cosmos inhaling and exhaling through all things. To feel it, to recognize it, is to wake up from a dream you didn't know you were dreaming. We often think of enlightenment as some distant, lofty goal, something that's reserved for monks on mountaintops or mystical sages who leave society behind. But enlightenment isn't about disappearing from the world. It's about being so fully present within it that every moment reveals the sacred. Imagine for a moment that you're a drop of water, carried along by a vast, endless river. You move with it, shaped by its flow, yet somewhere deep within, you believe yourself to be separate, a thing apart. You focus on the edges, the surface, the illusion that you're an isolated drop traveling through some foreign landscape. And then, one day, the realization dawns that you're not separate from the river at all. You are the river, experiencing itself in countless forms. This shift, this awakening, is the essence of enlightenment. A remembrance that what you thought was you is inseparable from the infinite dance of existence. It's funny, isn't it? We grow up being taught that we're individuals with hard edges, that we're small creatures moving through an indifferent universe. But what if that perspective is a misunderstanding, a trick of perception? What if everything you see as outside is a reflection of what's within you? The boundaries, the walls, the separations, they begin to dissolve when you see clearly, like mist evaporating in the morning sun. Enlightenment isn't about adding something new. It's about peeling away the illusions until you see that you're part of a living tapestry, a single note in the song of creation. When we talk about enlightenment, we're not talking about a simple change in perspective, like seeing a familiar room from a new angle. It's deeper than that. It's seeing that the walls of the room never really existed at all. Enlightenment is a surrender of the small self, the ego's idea of who you are, and the opening into something vast, something beyond words. It's as if you've spent your entire life watching shadows on a wall, mistaking them for reality, only to turn around and see the light that casts those shadows. And once you see that light, once you feel its warmth, you realize that it's not separate from you, that it is, in fact, what you are. There's an old story of a man who spends years searching for a hidden treasure. He travels to distant lands, faces challenges, and endures countless hardships, all in pursuit of this precious thing he's heard about. And after all his efforts, he returns home, exhausted and disheartened, only to find that the treasure was buried beneath his own feet all along. This is enlightenment. The treasure, the peace, the boundless joy. It's always been within you. The journey isn't about going somewhere. It's about coming home to yourself, to the deepest truth of who you are. When you look around with open eyes, you'll start to see that every blade of grass, every drop of rain, every gust of wind carries a whisper of this truth. Nature has been teaching us about unity, about interconnectedness since the dawn of time. Think about the roots of a tree, hidden beneath the earth, stretching out to touch the roots of other trees. They're individual trees, yes, but beneath the surface they're all connected, sharing nutrients, supporting each other, existing as one living organism. And so it is with us. Beneath our surface differences, beneath the stories we tell ourselves about who we are all rooted in the same source. We are not separate. We are interconnected threads in a single infinite web of life. This interconnectedness isn't just a poetic idea. It's a lived experience, one that changes everything. When you realize that the boundary between you and me is more fluid than it seems, compassion flows naturally. You begin to see that the suffering of another is not separate from your own, that the joy of another lifts you too. It's as though the heart opens wide, no longer bound by the narrow confines of self-interest. And in that openness, something miraculous happens. You begin to feel a deep, unshakable peace, a love that isn't attached to any object, that doesn't depend on conditions. This love is the essence of enlightenment, the recognition that love itself is what we are made of. The more you surrender to this truth, the more you let go of your need to control or possess, the more fully alive you become. Enlightenment isn't about escaping the world. It's about being so deeply present that the world around you comes alive in ways you never noticed. Colors seem brighter, sounds sharper. Even the smallest details of life become profound. Washing dishes, feeling the warmth of the sun on your skin, hearing the laughter of a child. Each moment, no matter how ordinary, becomes sacred. In enlightenment, life itself becomes the meditation, the prayer, the celebration. But this path isn't always easy. The mind resists. It clings to its stories, its habits, its sense of separateness. The ego, the little self, wants to hold on, to preserve its identity, its preferences, its fears. But enlightenment invites us to step beyond this narrow self, to dissolve into something larger, something boundless. And while the ego fears this dissolution as a kind of death, the truth is that it's only the death of illusion. What remains is your true self, the timeless awareness that was never born and can never die. As you move toward this realization, the noise of the world may begin to quiet. The worries, the anxieties, the constant striving, they lose their grip. It's as if you're walking through a storm and suddenly find yourself in a place of perfect stillness. This stillness is not emptiness, it's fullness, a rich, vibrant silence that holds all things. It's here, in this space, that enlightenment begins to blossom. It's not an escape from reality, it's a deeper immersion in it, a return to the source from which all things flow. When we talk about enlightenment, we're talking about a process of remembering, of rediscovering what's been hidden in plain sight. We are not merely observers in this universe, we are active participants, expressions of the divine exploring itself in countless forms. The universe is not out there, it's within you, woven into the fabric of your being, present in every breath, every thought, every heartbeat. When you awaken to this, the whole world shifts. You see the divine not just in temples or scriptures or symbols, but in the faces of strangers, in the rustling of leaves, in the vastness of the night sky. And so enlightenment is not a destination. It's not something to achieve or attain. It's an unfolding, a deepening awareness that continues to expand, that reveals layer after layer of truth. Even the idea of enlightenment eventually fades, as you realize there's nothing to add to what you already are. The journey is about letting go, about seeing clearly, about becoming transparent to the light that has always been shining within you. In this light, there is no fear, no lack, no separation, only a boundless, eternal love that connects all things. This is the gift of enlightenment, to know yourself not as a small, isolated being, but as a reflection of the infinite. To live from this place is to walk through the world with open eyes, open heart, open hands. It is to see the sacred in the mundane, to feel the pulse of the universe in your own heartbeat, to know that you are part of something vast, timeless, and unspeakably beautiful. Enlightenment is not something you become, it is what you've always been. The invitation is simply to remember. Thanks for watching. If you found value in this video, please remember to like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.